So I've always been a firm believer in having great audio, even if that means having an older camera or even shooting on your cell phone. So in this video, I'm going to go over the most common mistakes that people make when they're trying to get great audio or setting up their audio gear or mics or whatever, but they're not quite hitting the spot. And at the end of the video, stay tuned because I'll have a bonus tip. Let's dive in. Okay, the first common mistake is actually a very overlooked mistake that happens to pros and beginners alike, but it's related to mic placement. And not only mic placement, but understanding what kind of mic or what type of mic you're using and the placement for that specific mic, whether it's a boom, a shotgun, a lavalier, etc. Generally speaking, the closer you are to the mic, the more dynamics the mic's going to produce. And it's going to give you a deeper, richer, bassier sound. And it's also going to have a positive effect on noise reduction. The further you are from the mic, the more the mic's going to be picking up the ambient sounds. But the closer you are to the mic, the more it's picking up your voice or the subject. Now there's a limit. If you get really close, you're going to sound really bassy. The mic's going to pick up a lot of that low end frequency. So you want to find that sweet spot. Right now I'm using my boom mic and it's placed right out of frame. But if I bring it in just a bit, this is really close to my voice, way closer than I would usually have this mic. But if I get really close to this mic, you can see it's getting very boomy, very bassy. And if I step back, it's getting a little bit more balanced. Now, generally speaking, you want to point a boom mic at the chest of the subject or between the chest and the chin. And that's really primarily for two reasons. The first reason is you want to avoid pointing at the mouth because you'll have pops and other unwanted sounds or effects coming from the person's lips and mouth. And number two, pointing at the chest or between the chest and the chin will give you a great balance between dynamics, clarity, getting those syllables, and really having that richness. So this is the sweet spot. In regards to placement, you might be using a shotgun mic, and a lot of vloggers love using shotgun mics. Shotgun mics are no different. The closer you are to a shotgun mic, the richer it's going to sound, the better it's going to sound, the more it's going to pick up your voice. The further away you are, although you might get that wide angle look, you're also decreasing the quality between yourself and the mic because that distance is increasing. Sometimes it's as easy as switching out your lens to a wider angle lens and keeping that distance between yourself and the mic to keep the richness of the sound. Okay, now we switched over to the Sony shotgun mic. This is a digital shotgun mic exclusive to Sony cameras because it utilizes the digital hot shoe and basically has some presets and automatically controls certain features. So right now we're a pretty good distance away, but still within range of the shotgun mic. As I get closer, the audio is going to get better. It's going to increase, but you're going to get a little bit more of the bass and boominess in my voice. But as I get up and walk away from you and increase the distance between myself and the mic's quality is going to get worse and worse. And I can't turn around or get you guys my back. I always keep facing the microphone. Otherwise, you're not going to get any good audio. So this sounds a lot better to my ears. Shotgun mics are notorious for being really good mics, but placement matters, distance matters, and the application. So we talked about boom mics, we talked about shotgun mics, but what about lavalier mics? Well, lavalier mics have their sweet spots too. But with lavalier mics, if you get too close, you can actually degrade the sound. You'll get this really buzzy sound and really boomy sound at the same time. And that's because it has a really small mic capsule. So you're really rushing in a lot of air. And it kind of sounds like you're clipping, but you're not really clipping. You're just degrading the sound a bit. So typically with lavalier mics, it's about where your heart's at. You want to kind of place them around where your heart's at or between your rib cage, right? So right around here. Okay, right now we are using another lavalier mic that I own, the Rode Wireless Go 2. And you can absolutely vlog with a lavalier mic. They work just fine. Probably the most versatile mic. But I wanted to show you guys the difference between being really far away from a lavalier mic and being really close and being even closer. There's a big difference in the distance, just like any other mic.
but lavaliers tend to break up when you are too close. Kind of sounds like you're clipping, but you're not really clipping.
All mics have their sweet spot, lavaliers included. Just make sure you figure out or you research for yourself the type of mic that you're using for that day or project. Make sure you also research or understand the correct placement. And this actually takes me to my next segment. Choosing the wrong mic for the application or the video that you're trying to shoot. For example, this is my talking head. So I have a controlled environment. I'm using the highest quality mic that I can possibly get because there's a lot of talking going on. So I need to make sure that the audio is spot on, it's perfect. Using a shotgun mic in this scenario wouldn't work because I like shooting at 35mm. And the camera is actually quite a distance away. So having a shotgun mic mounted at the camera, it would just be too far. I wouldn't get that richness. I wouldn't be using the full potential of the mic. And because of the distance, the mic would be picking up a lot of ambience, a lot of noise, a lot of the echo or just air. And it wouldn't sound very good. Now, sometimes for my talking heads, you'll see me using my lavalier mics, which is totally acceptable. It's not going to have the same high quality as a studio mic or an XLR mic, a condenser mic, or so forth, but it's going to produce pretty great quality. And you'll see me from time to time using my lavalier mic. For run and gun situations, for interviews, or as a backup, lavalier mics are phenomenal. And I really enjoy the DJI mic, in case you're wondering which mic I chose.
Wireless lavalier mics like the Rode or the DJI, you can go a really far distance and still get great audio. And they also come with a lot of different features like a safety track and other things that will help you basically try to get the perfect sound or nail the perfect sound.
You'll see lavaliers not only in interviews, but also documentaries or even like spy documentaries or so forth because of that versatility. You clip them on, you can hide them, you can still get great audio and be really far away.
And that's the greatest advantage to lavalier mics, specifically this wireless system. I can turn my back, I can walk away from the camera, I can even go out of frame and you can still hear me. And the audio quality is still really, really good. So when it comes to lavalier mics, I mean, that's really what you're getting, the versatility. Sure, you're getting a little bit less sound quality compared to a studio mic, but overall, still really good quality. So now let's switch over to a shotgun mic, my Sony digital shotgun mic, and I'll show you guys the differences. So shotgun mics are notorious for vlogging. Everyone loves them because of vlogging, but they're also used on professional sets all the time. Now, of course, XLR inputs versus a jack, a mic jack, is gonna give you different results, but for most mirrorless cameras, plug it in, set your levels, and you're good to go. It's very run and gun style. And that's kind of the beauty of a really good shotgun mic. They're also very versatile in their own unique way.
Another common mistake is soundproofing or not understanding your environment. Again, this is my talking head. It's a controlled environment, but admittedly, it's not as soundproofed as I wish it was. And likewise, you also need to understand the environment that you're shooting in. If you're in a studio, there's a lot of things you can control. A lot of things are within your control. But if you're shooting outside, are you dealing with wildlife? Maybe a road that's nearby, a lot of car noise, a lot of traffic noise, people, and so forth. It's okay if that's the feeling or the look that you want and you're doing, run and gun style or whatever vlogging for YouTube. But if you're trying to shoot a story, all that stuff is distracting and it's just gonna cause more work in the end because you gotta figure out a way to either get rid of it, mask it, or make it part of the scene.
So here's another example of trying to mitigate or control or avoid certain noise in your microphone audio recordings. I am mimicking a vlog right now and I'm trying to talk to you guys with an air conditioner going off in the background. So this is not very engaging to the audience. This is probably really annoying. So let's cut this out and let's move on to the next segment.
Soundproofing doesn't have to be complicated. You don't necessarily have to buy specific dedicated soundproofing equipment or foam or honeycombs or so forth. If you're just starting out, you can actually go get some fabric or find an old carpet or hang some bed sheets, whatever. You can get creative on a budget, and trust me, you will notice a huge difference in your sound quality. Okay, we're at the end of the video and I promised you guys a bonus tip. The job's not done after you've captured the audio. Always edit your audio in post. I know, as a beginner, it's very overwhelming to have to EQ and do compression and all that great stuff. But learn it now, struggle now, and get better at it, because the job's not done. After you've captured your audio, you need to make sure you EQ it, and don't just make presets. EQ it every single time. Don't get lazy, even if it's the same subject, even if it's yourself in the same environment. Every single time I EQ my talking head, over and over again, it changes slightly, but that slight change can be drastic. Also, the more that you EQ, the more you're going to get familiar with EQing, and the more you're going to get familiar with your mics, the performance of your mics, and yourself. That's it for me, guys. I hope you found this video informative, and I will catch you on the next one. Take care, everybody.